all wood and leather like a kinky Pinocchio. I'm on a journey to get every single Borderlands Platinum trophy. So far we've done 1, 2 and a pre-sequel. You may expect 3 to be next, but when I say every single one, I mean it. So today I'm going to tell you a tale. This is mostly like watching a movie with occasionally hitting a quick time event or making a choice that will massively change the story. Apparently, to get the plat you literally just have to complete the game. Nothing crazy, nothing hard, just hit the credits, ding ding ding. The story is great here, it's super charming, the characters are great, and I'm a completionist, so it just feels wrong to skip this one. Just sit back, relax, and let's go. Oh, and subscribe if you want. Love you lot. We start with Marcus's silky smooth baritones filling our ear holes once again. He tells us a story, this one taking place after Jack has died. We are Reese. We wake up getting dragged through the sands of Pandora, bringing us to the gameplay, if you can call it that. We get to choose between one of 4 options of things to say, which of course leads me to being kicked and asked about something called the Gortys Project. This takes us on a trip down memory lane. Reese is working for Hyperion and he's supposed to get a promotion. We're talking to our best friend Vaughn about what we're gonna do once we get it. Here we can decide to be a dick, take all the money and the credit, or be me, who avoids confrontation like the plague, and say that we're both gonna make it together in the hopes that he won't stab me in the back later. We go into the boss's office, but he's been replaced by Vasquez, our enemy. He says he's the boss now, as the last one just stepped out, as you see him floating in the background, which is interrupted by a phone call. Someone shouts at Vasquez asking if he's gonna buy the Vault key or not for $10 million. I try and throw it back in his face after the call, trying to blackmail him, which works about as well as you expect because we are getting our promotion as a janitor. I crash out here and kick a trash can over and hear this.
Senior Vice Janitor Reese to Sector D451 for trash cleanup. Because that is your job now.
Then we meet Yvette as we plan our revenge to steal the Vault key for ourselves. We do need those $10 million, but since Vaughn is the money man, it's easy peasy. He's coming with, Yvette's helping from Helios, and we smash down to Pandora in Vasquez's new car and immediately repaint it. We roll into town and need to ask for directions, which is just a terrible idea, by the way, as we rock up in our fancy car with our mystery briefcase handcuffed to Vaughn. So we get Yvette to send us a loader. We get to choose between all-out attack with machine guns and rocket launchers or a shield and grenade. I pick the fence and launch it down to save us. One jam sandwich later, the fighting begins. We get to play as the loader here as we sit them down quite literally. That's until one grabs the case and drives off, dragging Vaughn alongside, which would grind him down to a fine pace, but we're too busy fighting for our own life to see that. We have this stun baton thing, which is overpowered as hell. Bonk, bonk. But you know what? I'll let this last one play. Shing. My god, it's brutal. The combat is so funny how it goes from being on the verge of death to whatever the hell this is. The loader throws us to safety and we get to decide if we want him to self-destruct or retreat. And since I'm the people pleaser that uses my manners on Alexa, you can guess which one I choose here. We find ourselves in a museum of curiosity. This part is really cool. You see a bunch of the bosses we've killed in previous games, all taxidermied for our viewing pleasure. One of which being Nakayama, who used to work for Hyperion until he was killed by some stairs. He still has an ID drive on him, so we take that hoping it's worth some money. I wander around for a while till I notice one of the attractions is missing. Even though I know it's gonna happen, it still gets me every time. So I smack a bitch to teach him a lesson, and he takes us to the Vault key sale. August is waiting for us. We see the key, we're ready to trade when August's partner jumps in saying she's now suspicious. He doesn't want to make the deal because we're too nice. We're giving them exactly what they want, and that is not how Hyperion operates. We're not evil enough, and we agree with that. We say we're not like them. We're actually doing this to get revenge against a dick up there, and she loves it, changing her mind completely. And now August is having second thoughts. I pick the option, August, I need that Vault key, thinking he'll talk about how much we want revenge to screw over Vasquez. But Reese says the opposite. He says how he made promises to his bosses on Hyperion and they'd be mad if we don't get the key. This is just a problem with the format of Telltale games, because it'd be impossible to know exactly what we are going to say without spoiling it, but it's still annoying. They go to abandon the sale and the game gives us our first big choice. We can blow his mind or break his heart, leading to Reese giving a speech so powerful, so full of motivation and passion, it brings August to tears.
What a steaming load of skag crap.
Meet Fiona. She's also us and has been captured too. We hear her side of the deal as it went down. Her and her sister were raised by Felix, a found family of con artists, and he's adding the finishing touches to the Vault key, which of course is completely fake. He tells us to keep our hands off it because the paint is still drying, and he gives us a small hidden gun with a single bullet. I bet this will be important later. Fiona's stopped from entering the bar by a bouncer, so we convince him that our wanted poster on the wall is actually the VIP list, and he's somehow so dumb that he believes it. Sasha then gives us 100 things that she's made up and told August, so we need to get our story straight immediately. And honestly, I smashed this. I get it all right the first time around, telling him we found the vault key, we're coming to him because he has contacts to sell it, and we're going to split the money. He has no idea that it's fake, which is why when he goes to touch it, I have to make a decision. Do I stop him? Do I reach in and grab his hand? I say no, because that sounds way more suspicious. I'm just going to let him touch it and hope it's dry. Of course it isn't, and he actually rubs that paint on his own face, but he doesn't notice, so we set up the deal with Vasquez. And as the deal goes down, we notice that Reese actually has a robotic eye that he can use to tell the key is fake. So we have a scrambling device, but we need to get it inside the meeting room, leading to yet another shade jump scare, which I use as another excuse to slap a bitch. But he's so desperate for friends that he just wants to tag along silently, and I agree because it's probably better than us getting caught due to him crying his eyes out like Gollum. And it now makes sense why Sasha was being weird in the meeting, because she needed to bring the key over to us in the vent so we can attach our EMP. But when we activate it, there's a slight problem. Reese also has a robotic arm. He drops the key, smashing it into 100 pieces, and before anyone has time to process this, Bossa Nova, a bandit leader, smashes through the wall and taking the briefcase, and Zero does his best Demon Slayer impression, slicing and dicing the psychos like Fruit Ninja. August tries to fire at us through the chaos, catching Felix in the shoulder, and we get this slow-mo action shot, a chance to use our lucky bullet, but I resist, hoping it'll save me later instead, and we get back to the car where we see Reese and Vaughn. We gotta convince Fiona not to kill us and ditch us on the side of the road. We tell them we can get the money back and split it amongst ourselves. So we call Yvette, who tells us Hyperion are actually onto us. So I tell her not to help us and just to keep herself safe. Instead, I use Nakayama's ID drive, stabbing it straight into my brain box, knocking me out cold. But it did find the money. It's a race arena and we have to sneak our way inside. This gives Reese an Ant-Man style over-the-top plan, and I love it. By the time he's finished, everyone's ignored him and went in without him anyway, finding a hole in the ground. So Reese and Sasha begin down the ladder when it's slammed behind us, separating the group. Sasha taking the lead, but when it's my turn for a stealth kill, it doesn't go as well.
Eric? Oh, is that you?
The arena is an old Atlas facility, so Reese hacks his way inside to activate this lift, and we actually get a little closer to Sasha here as I choose to let her play with the stun baton, gaining her trust, which is good because she now saves us from the skags whilst I finish the hack. And when she can't save us, the Vault Hunter does. Everyone's meet Zero. I love this man. Back with Sasha and Vaughn though, they have to keep undercover, so they accidentally enter themselves into the race. We got a fair shopping section. I'm guessing I missed something throughout the playthrough because I have literally $10, so I'm forced to take the free basic option, as it's announced that first place for this race will get the mystery briefcase. So I give Vaughn a motivational speech, which is short-lived because he's then threatened by a psycho, and we say we'll just let him die and take the case for ourselves. Why would we do this? I would have loved the choice here to stop this, but no, instead we only spare him because he tells us there's a bomb in the case. Unless he opens it, it'll explode. Reese and Sasha though are on the top of the lift, which of course is in the middle of the race arena, and since we gave Sasha the stun baton earlier, she actually uses it to save herself, and we get a call from Vasquez saying if we bring the money back, he'll forget all about this. We'll screw over Vaughn, give him the blame, but since I'm a good friend, I decline. He even offers to give me half of the money, but I still say no until we're rudely interrupted by a giant skag eating the bandit that was holding the case. So we have to use Zero's sword to let's say get it back, until Bossa Nova does this chest blast bass drop thing like Lucio, firing the money across the arena. Of course it lands on one of the death race cars, so as Fiona and Vaughn, we fight for our life, jumping between the cars, which is honestly so much fun. I don't know how Vaughn suddenly has the bravery to do this, but it's just great chasing the case and trying to not let anyone die in the process. Well, any of us. The bandit's a fair game. Felix actually ends up catching the case and pulling a gun on us, causing a crashing the car, and as he goes to run with it, the only family we've ever had walks out the door with our $10 million. This is terrible, but be honest with me right now. If someone offered you $10 million to leave your family behind, would you do it? Hell, I'd do it for £10. Despite the betrayal, I still tell Felix about the bomb, so he throws the money into the air and it goes kaboom. I'm assuming if I didn't, he would be spaghetti. But with no money and no Volky, we now have to accept our fate. That's until Loader comes back to save us again. I love this robot, man. Although he does accidentally smash us underground, leading to the research facility. And there's some prototype weapons here from forever ago. We push a red button to see two floating pieces of something. We pick them up and they lock together like a jigsaw, revealing a map. And we hear a familiar voice. The hologram of handsome Jack. Bum bum ba. This ends the first chapter of our little story. Ding 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 ding. Our kidnapper unties us as the story continues. It turns out no one else can see Jack other than Reese, so as he's freaking out running away, we drop the jigsaw pieces which electrocute anyone that isn't the main character for plot reasons. We continue to explore the base. We find a eye scanner that alerts an old Atlas general we are here. Oh no, what's that beeping sound? Yeah, it turns out his body is being stored here too, and we need to scan his eye to continue, but he's a heavy boy, and whilst we don't have a forklift, we do have a spore. So, you know what that means. The computer shows us Athena in Old Haven killing everyone and vowing to hunt the general himself, so he actually put himself in suspended animation until she's captured. That means, yeah, that poor fella's still alive. Whoopsie daisy. But this does mean we need to go to Old Haven. We then see this from Reese's perspective as he talks to hologram Jack. Jack tries to kill us and we have to tell him he's actually dead, so he tries to dead us too, which is actually pretty effective. I immediately decide to tell Vaughn. I figure it's better to be honest now and sound crazy than him find out I'm lying to him the whole game. But Hyperion tracked the case's last location and they're trying to blow us to pieces, so we take to the wheel predicting where the bombs are gonna drop so we can avert them. This does wake up the rat hive that charges straight at us. Another great scene, honestly. With the missile dropping and the rat closing in, we look at our new La Familia and absolutely send it with our boosters, blowing it up in the process and sending some of us flying out the car. This game slaps, man. It's honestly so good. And Vaughn has completely lost it. He went from being scared of his own shadow to feeling like the golden god himself. He's absolutely Jack. Speaking of Jack though, I tell Vaughn he does think we're crazy at first, but since he's our best friend in the world, he believes us. He does tell us not to tell anyone since the world wants to kill Jack for a reason, so they'll kill Reese for it too. And speaking of killing Reese, Vasquez smashes down next to us and holds us at gunpoint. He says about how we had a deal. I stay quiet here, hoping you won't give us up to Vaughn. But that's when Vaughn jumps in himself. It turns out Vaughn was the one with the deal to throw us under the bus. He took that deal and we turned it down. And Vasquez wants us to dig our own graves, which is dark as hell. Jack makes an appearance, upgrading our cyber eyes so we can hack the car behind him. I do this the slowest way possible out of curiosity. I play the radio, I play the horn, I turn on the voice auto fire on the weapon, but Jack actually now has control of our robo arm because we let him help us. I'm sure that won't be a huge mistake later, but as for now, the loader flies us to safety, and Vasquez does chase us at first, and then he decides to pull the car over so he can do a big dramatic scream into the sky, you know, instead of just following us. Now we have the biggest decision of the entire game, probably. We can either go to Old Haven directly and hope the girlies meet us there, or we can go to Hollow Point where they're from and we can go together as a family. And this is where Vaughn gives us a big apology. He says that he was telling Vasquez exactly what he wanted to hear and he was never planning on betraying us. He was just trying to buy us more time, and he feels even worse knowing that we turned down that deal. He feels like he betrayed us, and honestly I do kind of believe him here. But now we see from Fiona's perspective. After the car breaks down, we pull into Scooters because we do need his help, but it won't stop me stealing from him first. We see the main man himself and he somehow recognizes our car from the death race, even though that's not the car we drove. Unless when he says he recognizes the rig, he's actually talking about Fiona's body. In that case, fair enough. And Scooter agrees to fix up our car for free if we become a sponsor for him, promoting his business, appearing on billboards and stuff. We do our best catch a ride impression.
Catch a ride.
Even pay a little extra for some style points. Again, I don't actually have the money for any of the good ones, so I go for the Hammerlock Special, all wood and leather like a kinky Pinocchio. $2 2 bandits then come in holding our wanted poster and beat the crap out of Scooter because he doesn't give us over. What a great guy. He works on our car for free, protects the ladies. What a man. Then we go to Felix's old safe house. We open the safe in the house to find a black light. That's right, it's puzzle time, baby. We turn on the light, revealing a hidden box with money, a homemade grenade. Somehow he knew we'd find this after he betrayed us. Turns out August works for Valerie, the biggest, scariest mob boss. He wasn't scamming us as much as he was taking the money for himself to pay for our safety, but with the money going boom, that means we're screwed. But at least he left us a box each. Mine having an upgrade for our pistol and a single extra bullet, and we don't open Sasha's because even though she hates him, we tell her we'll keep hold of it for later. In steps Kroger and Finch. They work for Valerie, of course they do. They hold us at gunpoint, and hey, I got 2 bullets and there's 2 people. All I'm saying is, I do pull it on one of the henchmen though, who just laughs and tells us to shoot him. So I call his bluff here and try and save my bullets again. Although this time, it didn't work. Boom. Next time round, I use a fire shot because fire effective on flesh, you know? I give him a haircut, and Sasha introduces the other guy to a frying pan. With every bounty hunter on Pandora now hunting us, this includes Athena. So we make a run for it, and I can either split up and look for clues like a Scooby-Doo episode, or I can stick with my sister, which of course I try and do, however the game forces us to separate anyway. Your choice matters. Athena closes in until little sis saves us on a bike, well, until she doesn't, and then Loaderbot does, turning Athena into Icarus. We turn on the power in Old Haven, finding yet another secret Atlas facility. Although it's not much as a secret, as it turns out it's full of bodies that Athena left behind, and Vasquez and August waiting for us. They shut down the loader so he can't even save us anymore, and then they go to kill us, but since they can't pick up the jigsaw pieces, they're forced to keep us alive. And Jack remembers Vasquez for some reason, but he doesn't know why, so he's just trying to figure it out whilst Vasquez is rambling, saying that he misses Jack the way that Jack used to punch him in the face every time he seen him. He really thought they had a special connection. He was Jack's personal punching bag. Meanwhile, Jack doesn't even know who he is. With Fiona though, it turns out August actually loves Sasha, and he says that there's no hard feelings. He didn't want to hurt any of them. He's just trying to find whatever's hidden here to give to Valerie so she won't kill him for losing their money. And we get to the center console where it locks Reese and Fiona inside, where they put the pieces into the machine, making a floating mystery ball. Being detected as intruders, a bunch of security droids come out, and now we come on to one of our next iconic choices. Do we listen to Fiona, who has no idea what she's doing, but she's gonna try her best, or do we let Jack take over one more time, potentially giving him more access to my body? So I decide to stay on the power of friendship, which ends that chapter there. Ding, 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 ding. Moving on to chapter 3. Still walking with our captor, we continue the story. Fiona dropped one of those smoke bombs we got from the safe house, and we climb down the ladder. It's chaos. The robots are killing the bounty hunters and bandits, whilst I take a hint from the Arkham games using the vents and traveling cover to cover. And here I do have the option to attack this person, but I want to follow them first in case there's more, which actually does save my life. Now we have to avoid those turrets, and I am not good at this, like at all. I get shot so many times in a row until I finally time it right, throwing my hat into the air, making the turrets blow each other up. Moments away from safety, our Loaderbot even grabs us, which would be amazing, but he's been took over by Vasquez, so he apologizes as he beats the crap out of Reese. He's about to rip him in half when Fiona takes the control stick and throws it at Vasquez. But since I'm too much of a gamer, I hit the quick time event perfectly, jumping out of the way of an electric bolt which hits Vaughn right in the face. He's now paralyzed for the foreseeable, bless his cotton socks. So Loader carries him as we fly to safety. Bonk! Everyone meet Mommy, I mean Valerie. She's in charge and she knows it. Unlike Negan, she wants us to choose who dies for the money getting destroyed. Can you guess who we choose? Then we have another one of these imaginary choices. We can cut her out of the deal or make her head spin. I'm wanting to confuse her. I make that head spin. Of course we're lying, trying to impress our captor, I guess. She tries to light us up, but Athena saves us. Yeah, it turns out she's actually on our side and has been the entire time, despite us shooting her, running away, attacking her every chance we got. Felix hired her with the last of his money to keep us safe from Valerie and stay with us until we can fend for ourselves. And we press the button on the magic ball, which wakes up Gortys. Look at this absolute cutie pie. This is the best character in the whole game. She's harmless, a ball of sunshine and silliness, and I love her so much. She's a robot that Atlas made to lead them to the vault, but we need to get the rest of her pieces first. She tries to take Vasquez with us. Yeah. I tell her he's having a little nap, and we continue our road trip, baby. Jack begs us not to tell Athena about him, because if she knows, she'll cut our head off just to make sure he stays dead. And he crashes out the fact that we trusted Fiona over him earlier. He says that if Reese dies, he dies, so next time let him save us both. And to be fair, that does make a lot of sense, and I do trust him there, so I say fine, we'll work together from now on, let's save each other. And Jack vows that we're gonna get back on top together. We're gonna rule the world, baby. Back to the present, Fiona asks our captor some questions, saying they must know us, or why else would they wear a mask, so it must be someone from this story. Back at the story, we arrive at the next piece. It's inside a giant greenhouse full of rare flowers and plants. It's super pretty and abandoned, other than this one room, which looks a little too cozy. There's a crate full of money, fresh fruit and clothes, and you know, this whole ass man. He seems nice enough, he's a bit creepy, but he actually is scared. He begs us to leave, and we tell him to relax, saying that we're not gonna hurt him, and with that, he actually helps Vaughn. And this next line makes me think he likes the goth girlies.
Someone please spit in my eye! Or lick my eye!
The doctor, though, is still trying to leave, so we don't trust him. He gives us a sob story, losing his wife, his son, and his cat in that order, saying that he just got there before us, which we know is complete crap. He's been here a long time, he's trying to get rid of us, so we threaten him, and he tells us the truth. He's worked here for months, and he knows where the upgrade is, but past some automatic turrets that are still online. So Reese and Sasha group up again, and actually have a moment or two.
Romantic.
What was that?
That didn't say anything.
She even holds us tightly. Granted, it's so she doesn't fall to her death, but still, I will take it. And after that, she embraces us in her loving arms, catching us when we fall. Back with Fiona, there's a killer plant here, and Athena takes this as an opportunity to train us. She gives us an entire box of bullets, making the two we've saved completely pointless. This training scene's fun though, as we unlock Fiona's ability. They say she's not a combat expert, but she is smart. She can see the future slightly. I guess she's a precog, as we can decide which path to take. And honestly, I do kind of love this whole work smart, not hard approach, and it lets me pick whatever I think will be the funniest option as I RKO the flower. Reese does have more game than we give him credit for though. He puts a flower in Sasha's hair, although the wildlife aren't thrilled about this as it chases in slow motion, but still fast enough to second time around I activate the lift that goes 1 mile an hour, but somehow makes all the difference saving us. Athena then gets a call from a familiar voice. It's Janie Springs, her Aussie girlfriend from Elpis. She thinks that Athena gave up the vault hunting and adventuring gig and instead is just a postman, so she lies to her. With the door ahead being blocked, we use the General's eye from earlier to open the path, and Athena's reaction is so good.
It's not that.
Oh my god, yes. Yes, it is.
Inside we find the upgrade, but the turrets light us up first, so we cut back to Reese as to hack the turrets to shut them down. I was curious if I could just do it the least effective way possible, so I hack everything else, turning on the aircon, turning the lights down low, the alarms on, and then finally the turrets, so it changed nothing. But we do also see during the hack that the guy from earlier is an Atlas scientist and a bad guy. Who's seen that coming? Oh, and Reese got booped off of the lift. This man do be falling a lot. We go back with the piece, and us solving that puzzle to reveal a scientist worked at Atlas was pointless, as he says, wow, you have the Gortys piece, despite us never mentioning Gortys. So Athena obviously goes to cut his entire head off, and she reveals that she's doing this because Atlas forced her to kill her own family. So I say pop off, queen, go for it. Take this innocent man's life who has no idea what you're talking about. And I think she would have if Brick didn't come out of absolutely nowhere and spear her out of a window, because Valerie's back and she brought a freaking rocket launcher. The loader's trying his best to protect Gortys, and they literally rip his legs off to get to her, bless him. So we tell her to roll as fast as she can to get away. And guess what? Annoying dynamic duo is back. Although this part's great. We're hanging upside down and disarmed. So we do a Laura Croft swing back and forth, grabbing our gun back and having one of the most creative fight scenes I've seen in a while. As Sasha helps us, it's super fun.
I am so nauseous right now.
Loader then takes us for a ride after the bandits and Gortys, so I jump aboard and have my own baseball highlight. This part does make me laugh though, as I try and roll out of the way of the bullet, which of course does nothing. Sasha saves us here, and then we have to grab the roly boy or gal, I suppose, and we get this upgrade which magnetizes to her. I'm back with Fiona. Athena is fighting Brick and Morty. I didn't even mean that. That's so good. So we give the flower a snack, which Brick rips out of the ground and tries to bonk us with it. And Gortys now has thick thighs that literally saves lives, acting as the legs for the loader bot until we take a little tumble. As we're back with Fiona, Brick tries to give us a cuddle, but we blast his toe off, and he returns the favor with a pretty one-sided high five, except, you know, to my face and with his fist. We wake up to see Big Mama, who fires a rocket launcher at us, and Athena sacrifices herself here, giving us the shield. Janie is gonna be so pissed with us. Time to use one of my golden butter. Yeah, we get pinned down by rocket launcher. That's so funny. As it's revealed, Brick and Morty were bringing Athena in for questioning. You know, the entire story of the pre-sequel game? That's honestly so cool, man. I love seeing it all tied together like this. And Valerie threatens to kill us all if Gortys doesn't tell her where the next piece is. And because she doesn't want anyone to hurt her new friend, she tells the truth, saying the next piece is on Helios. Making one hell of a cliffhanger on one end of this chapter. Ding, 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 ding. And back in the present, and Reese and Fiona are making a plan. Reese says, let's zigzag out the way, make a break for it, because clearly he needs to keep us alive for some reason or he would have killed us by now. Since I'm playing as Fiona, I politely say, fuck that, and here's what happens next.
That's a weird way to run.
This is thankfully interrupted by a meteor shower, and the mystery man ties us up, not in the book talk fantasy way, unfortunately, and the story continues. Gortys tells us about the vault. It constantly teleports all over the world every couple of seconds, and Gortys is built to not only locate it, but it locks it in place. So Valerie forces us to work with her, and if we refuse, she'll kill us, so I guess we're going to the moon, baby. Jack tells us the piece is probably in his office, so I tell the Gaelies about him, and they're pissed for not telling them earlier, which is honestly annoying because I was literally never given the option to do so, or I would have. Your choices matter. We go to Scooter, and he loves the idea of being on knight in shining armor once again, so we team up, but first we need to convince Janie to build us a ship because she's a little distracted with her girlfriend being all, you know, abducted and possibly murdered. As apparently Athena forgot to turn off the echo last time, so Janie basically heard everything. That means she's pissed with us, even though she heard us tell Athena to tell Janie the truth. This is never acknowledged. We tell her the only reason Athena got captured is that she was saving us and sacrificing herself, and Janie asks if she had any last words. Of course, she never really had a chance going kaboom and all, but we choose to lie to her, saying her final words were confessing her love for Janie. Despite the fact she could hear the whole thing apparently and knows that's a lie, she believes us, and she's now on board to making our rocket, with Scooter tagging along because it could fall apart at any moment. I feel like it makes more sense for Janie, since if it falls apart, she's the one that built it, but whatever. Reese and Vaughn have a heart-to-heart as Valerie's keeping him hostage so we don't run away. Reese actually has a choice here. Do we tell him to escape in our absence or stay still? I tell him to stay there. I just want to protect this small little man. Reese has went back to get Vasquez's body because we're going to scan it and make a disguise to use, although there's only one problem. His face is kinda sorta gone. It was cut off by a psycho. So now we have to follow the blood trail and peel it off that sleepy boy.
No. Oh, it's stuck.
Of course, the bandit wakes up and chases us, and the bounty hunters actually save us here. Just one problem though. Boom! I guess we're taking Vasquez soup instead. Meanwhile, the girlies get to go shopping. And since they're going to go undercover on Helios, they're going to act as tour guides, so we have to splash the cash to make them look the part. Reese then becomes Vasquez and has a little voice changer, and it's time to blast off.
Now I can see the light.
This does lead me on to my biggest mistake of the video. Scooter brought a mini satellite because he wants to promote his brand all over Pandora, but since we're being sneaky beaky right now, I say we'll do it on the way back, which he does seem to understand. He says it's not a big deal. It turns out it's a massive deal, actually. Remember Henderson, the person that was thrown out of the airlock right at the beginning of the game? Turns out he's still out there. He gets sucked directly into our engines, becomes soup, which is gonna make us explode. So Fiona and Scooter climb out of the moving rocket to detach the engines before they do, we have to do exactly what Scooter says here, including pressing this button fast enough so we can press it without getting our hand trapped. I nail it, well, eventually. But here's the thing, good old Scooter ain't as fast as he used to be. His arm is trapped, and rather than blow up the entire ship with all of us inside, he makes a decision for us. We have to detach him so he can be our knight in shining armor once again. I give him a little kissy kiss on the cheek. He catches one final ride into the sunset. Rest in peace, buddy. You are an icon, a ladies man, a hero, and most of all, a friend. Anyway, we board Helios, and Reese Gez, as I'm gonna call him, takes the lead. Yvette meets us and has no idea we aren't the real Vasquez. She says it weren't supposed to go down like this. She didn't want Reese alive, she wanted his head so they could split the reward for the Nakayama drive that's implanted in it. Yeah, basically everyone that worked at Hyperion betrayed us at one point or another, which to be fair to the game makes completely sense. So I decided to stay undercover. I don't tell her I'm Reese and I go to my office. Me and Jack get a little cozier here though, as we both hack our way into the systems, holding hands as we do so we can guide the girlies to Jack's office. They are the tour guides now, or at least trying to be, and have to completely wing a tour for the worst people on the ship. And that is saying something when you're on Helios. All dressed like Jack, they spent a fortune for a VIP tour and they won't settle for anything less than perfect. So I show them the queen herself, Butch Stallion. They make an entire story around a chair that just kind of turns out to be a chair, whoopsie daisy. But I spin it to be a test, saying that if they were true believers in Jack's greatness, they would have known the difference. So the tour continues, although I don't have the access key for Jack's real office, so they kind of sort of get vaporized and the doors slam closed, so we need another way inside. Yvette reveals though she was always working with Vasquez, tracking us the entire time, refusing us supplies, and even sending us a faulty loader bot. So as she's calling security, we have to decide. We can either talk it out or take her out, and you know how much I love my trusty stun baton. I turn my voice back to Reese and boop her into the next dimension. With the door closed, Jack tells us the only way in is climbing up a trapdoor in his office that he used for dropping charity workers through. So now we have to climb up that murder hole just to get inside. The hole leads to the security room, so we need to get arrested to get there. I decide to cause chaos shooting Butch Stallion, but to my surprise, she bleeds. There's something horrifying about this. It affects us and Fiona as we're arrested, and Gortys happily follows, holding the guy's hand. Can you tell I love her yet? But now we're on to what I'd happily say is the worst part in the game. Do you ever have a joke that seemed funny at first, and then it keeps going and going until now it's painful? Yeah, that's kind of what happens here. Reese Gez gets called out by the accounting department for the money going missing, and it ends in a shootout, except it's finger guns. This feels like something that would have been in a Saints Row game. You fight probably 100 guys taking human shields, baseball batting, invisible grenades, and whatever the hell this is. And this entire scene just takes Vasquez and even Hyperion as a whole and throws out any threat or any danger they ever had. I hate this word, but wow, it's cringe. It's that bad. I feel like if someone walked in whilst I was playing this part, I'd switch to porn because it'd be less embarrassing. Reese now has to start climbing through the extra murder hole of death below the office. Fiona has to hold this lever up to keep the traps at bay, which I thought is a great little device. It's a great little aspect to throw tension into the mix here. Maybe she'd be attacked, maybe she'd have to hold it, maybe it'd stop working as Reese comes down. Nope, no issues with this whatsoever. Now in Jack's office, we find the next piece and have a little heart-to-heart with him. We sit at the throne of Hyperion. Jack says we can share the power, we'll both be on top, run the place as a team, and Jack has been great for us so far. Everything he said has made sense, so why the hell not? I plugged Jack's AI into Helios. He can now control the entire ship, and even gives a big speech telling everyone that Reese is now the new president of Hyperion. Ending that chapter there. Ding ding, ding ding ding, ding. We start this with the girlies getting captured by Yvette. She wants to know where Reese is, and the game does give me the choice to throw hands, but I refuse. And you know how your decision matters? Yeah, me choosing not to punch someone just meant Gortys starts the fight instead. It literally didn't impact anything. Back with Reese, we're celebrating our victory. We're making our first presidential decision. We can explode an entire bandit camp. We can fire the accountants, making them take the blame for the money going missing, or we can order a pizza. And since I have a Ninja Turtle tattoo on my arm, you know what I'm picking. Although Jack actually does have a plan of his own. Nakayama made a Jack exoskeleton. I thought this meant he could be a little Robo fella in real life too, but no, it turns out the exoskeleton goes inside people. He wants to put it inside any bandits we ever kill going forward, making a Robo Jack, which he can then put his AI inside of and just have an army of Jacks, which is definitely horrifying. But the worst part of all is he wants to use our body to jack himself off of Helios. Honestly, I kind of wanted to do it. Let chaos reign. Why the hell not? But remember, our actions do not have consequences and our choices do not matter. So we're forced to call him a monster, and we drop the Gortys piece down to Fiona and Sasha through the hole, and we get trapped in the trapdoor. Well, you know, before falling all of the way down. So even though Fiona was gone, I guess the trap stayed off anyway. Pointless, pointless, pointless. Jack has now lost his mind. He's using turrets to kill anyone and everyone. He's locked the hangar doors so we can't leave. So Reese is forced to destroy the power core, which will force the hangar doors open, and Sasha and Fiona feel like we betrayed her and we're not coming. So they head to the hangar where they are betrayed by the bad guys who seen that coming, who steal Gortys, and Sasha makes it to the ship before they blast off, leading the rest of us to fight over an evacuation pod. Loader does force Fiona into one of them and comes to help Reese. There's only one pod left and 3 of us. There's me, Loader, and Mr. Mustache. So Loader forces just Reese inside, slams the door, and sacrifices himself one final time as Mr. Mustache destroys him. I swear the best characters in this game are the freaking robot. But with that, Helios explodes. The vault is opening below in the dust and we smash into Pandora. Reese limps through the wreckage, still haunted by Jack's AI, as Jack gives one of his most iconic speeches.
God, hell no. You're way better at killing people than I am. How many people do you think were on Helios, huh? How many of your co-workers did you just eject into space to get rid of me, huh? What makes you think you're the good guy in this scenario, huh?
This is why Jack's one of the best villains ever, man. The writing is so good. How can he be so silly one moment, so scary another, the worst guy in the world, and you somehow even feel sorry for him here as he finds out that Angel killed herself just to get away from him. And with his final stand, he takes over Reese's metal arm and tries to kill him, which forces Reese to rip his own arm out of his body and cut the eye out of his head, whilst Jack is on his knees begging. Dark as hell, but I love every second as in a pile of blood Reese blacks out. Fiona climbs out of the escape pod to see the sandstorm of the vault as the 2 monsters fight each other to the death, one being the vault's protector and the other being the summoner, Gortys herself. Absolutely massive. The poor thing's getting the crap beat out of her by the monster, and Valerie's firing a rocket launcher not at the monster but at Gortys, because if she dies, the vault monster will be forced to leave. And I give her a little ticket to a place I like to call Headkick City. It doesn't do much, but the vault monster turns her into bolognese, and Fiona and Sasha are forced to take out their lovable companion, exploding her into shrapnel. We fly back to the present and we finish that tale. We see a recognizable bandit. How the hell did Mr. Mustache make it off Helios? No one dies in this whole story if their name isn't Scooter, I guess. He brought a bandit leader that he wants to trade to kill Reese and Fiona until our kidnapper kinda sorta snaps his neck in half. The bandit leader ties up our captor, cuts our bindings, and of course it's Vaughn with an amazing beard and a horrible man-bun. We have a cuddle to celebrate and we travel to the Eye of Helios. It's his new home, his base. He took everyone from the escape pods and taught them how to survive, despite the fact he's only actually been there for about a day himself. We interrogate our old captor and we hear their side of the story. They were there when Gortys was horrifically murdered. It's the freaking Loaderbot who sacrificed everything every time just to save us again and again and again, and then witnessed us murder his only friend. But can I just say, what the hell was the point in the escape pods? Only 3 people were trapped on that base. They literally all survived. We all might as well have just stayed up there. Loader used Jack's exoskeleton to find us because he couldn't believe that we would kill Gortys Gortys like that. He gives us a cuddle and we're all friends again now, and Loaderbot wanted us all together because he's actually summoning the vault again so we can save his friend Gortys. And I never really thought about it, but it makes perfect sense that in the Borderlands Telltale game we would have to fight a vault monster. This part is interesting though, because we actually get to build a little super team based on who we've befriended so far. This means we get Zero, Athena, and the last person I really wanted to be Janie because I love her so much. But she's the only character I didn't unlock, despite the fact I told Athena to tell her the truth and she heard that. Remember when Scooter wanted to send his advert into space earlier? And I said, let's wait till we're on the way home. He kinda sorta died, so it fucked me over because she says we didn't honor his memory. What? That was before he died. So I guess if I wanted Janie to join us, I'd have to see the frickin' future. That's so dumb. So I'm forced to take August instead, who I don't care about at all. The monster can teleport short distances, so to stop it we need to get inside it and blow it up by driving to where it's going to teleport. I feel like this would just burst you like a balloon in a bath, but once that's out the way they want to use the Eye of Helios to blow it apart, and with the plan well planned we bring back our lovable friend and unfortunately the Traveler. Poor Gortys is terrified, so Reese has to give her a pep talk. Her role is pretty much to distract it and survive for long enough to try and make it teleport. Immediately Vaughn fires, meaning we need to survive even longer for it to charge back up again. But Reese says with the power of friendship we can truly do anything, and Gortys says bet, literally dragging him inside because she can use the fighting abilities of everyone else on the team. This is so cool. Reese says he doesn't have any powers, the only thing he did was finger guns, so that's what Gortys uses, lighting him up, making him teleport. So Fiona and Sasha ramp inside. We then grab everyone else as the fight continues. We're like a freaking Power Ranger Megazord. It goes so hard. Athena lends us her shield and we absolutely bonk him. August does boxing, I guess? I don't think they really knew what to do with him here, but it ends up being like a Batman beatdown. Next up, Zero uses his decoy and hand-to-hand combat, and the Loader does the spitty throwing thing. This is hype as hell. Inside the Traveler though, we grab the explosives and we have to survive the Guardians because apparently they are inside it too. When the Traveler teleports, it removes the gravity, so Fiona uses this to absolutely pop off, literally riding one of the Guardians into battle, and we place the charge, and we place the charge, so now we need to get the hell out of there before it explodes. But there's one problem, the detonator is broken, so Sasha throws herself out of our exit ship to manually detonate it, which stops the teleporting so we can use the Eye of Helios to blast the hole. Gortys uses Zero's sword to cut the monster into rubble. Absolute cinema. The Traveler is defeated and Gortys is a little ball girly again amongst the wreckage, but Sasha lies broken, so much so that we can't move her without agony. So with her final breath she opens the box from Felix, and it's a stopwatch saying that time heals all wounds. Ironic, I guess. At least it would be. The watch is actually a healing device. It saves her entire life, because remember, no one can die in this game. Once again, no consequences, despite that being the pitch of the game. This cuddle's cute though. So let's go into the vault. After Fiona gives us her blessing to be with Sasha, we open the chest hand in hand to see what's inside, except us, the audience, will never know. And with that, we roll the credits. Ding, 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 ding. And finally, the Platinum Trophy. Let's face it, if you're watching this far, you've probably already played the game, so why not watch one of the other videos? It genuinely means a lot to me that you're still here, because on a personal level, I'm going through the worst time of my life right now. So hopefully I at least made you smile. Love you lots. Bye bye.